Nana didn't really agree with some of the girls doing it. Like, okay, best way to explain it, like all the girls should be able
that I started fixing my own place. Like I was almost grown before I started fixing my own place. It was always the women, even if we all can cook, no matter who cooked, the women always fixed the place in the house. It was something that our father instilled in us. So when it's time for you to have a wife, then when it's time for you to have a wife, then it's something that not necessarily you would expect of your wife, but it would be something that you could establish in your own household, to have the women fixing the man's plate in order to show him honor and respect. That's it. That's all I can think of.
Amen. Any ladies want to respond to this?
There is no response. What I said is correct. So just
Well, y'all not responding. I truly feel like it's because he knew that in my head, like where when we would ever make spaghetti, right? My whole thing was, okay, cool. From my mama house, I could eat what I need to because I'm the single child in there and everything like that. But you got like five kids in here, dude. Like, let me see what that like. Let me go ahead and make my own plate. So by the time they come downstairs, they will understand that the portion that's still in the pot is what they split. So I can definitely, you know, back back in my heyday, eat like three plates easy, right? So that in my head, it's like you trying to stop me from being great. I think you don't
Mm-mm.
want me to for real have food in my stomach the way I normally do, and it's because you feel like I should be getting used to the fact that I have brothers and sisters. Sir, I was born outside of wedlock. It's just it's just me, myself, and I. Ooh, it's just me, myself, and I.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Solo riding.
No,
Like, yeah,
stop.
yeah, yeah. It's just me. And guess whose fault that is? So run me my plate. Thank you. Appreciate you. I don't need nobody touching my plate because then y'all gonna be
that's a
sticky like a lunch lady.
that sounds like a little bit of only child syndrome there.
Sound like it was the Papa Rolling Stone syndrome.
It's only child syndrome because in one space you're the only child where you don't have to share nothing and you eat what you want, but in another space you have to adjust and be a part of a clan that you really I don't know the relationships, but you have to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of a clan in that situation. So you going from being the only player to multiples. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's an adjustment that um, I'm not saying you wrong for your feelings. I don't want you to think that because I get it. I understand. Because being a part of a blended family myself, couple of them, I get it. But I'm just saying it just sounds a little bit of only child syndrome.
See, my only issue with that whole time is like I've never liked the KKK, so this whole Klan thing is not really a huge. I'm not really a big
Okay,
fan.
wait a minute. What a family circle,
Y'all done woke
assembly
Amber.
team.
Yeah, talking about like pretty much what you're saying is there's no I am team, but there's a couple letters in there that I think honestly would definitely make sense, like M and E.
You did that backwards. It's E and M.
No, no,
Yes.
it's me.
Well, first of all, okay, let me give my opinion on this. Real talk and straight to the point. Your daddy was a sexist when it came to certain things. His thing was that women are supposed to cater to men, and he tried to do that when he was with me, and it didn't work out. So he figured out that he could do that at his home. So his thing was that you would sit down and let them serve you. Yeah, but when you got home, you would bring home the antics from over there to my house, like coming in and dropping your jacket at the door and waiting for somebody else to come pick it up. And you found out that didn't work there either. Turn around, go back and pick up the jacket and
Boy, the
hang
way
it
you
back up.
slung me across that room to that jacket, that will never leave my
Right?
mind. Just heads up.
Baby, right in front of
I
your
mean,
daddy.
she said, "Boy, gripped my shoulders and flung me like I was the what's it called? Like a matador with the red flag, bro. She flung me like a flag, bro.
and pick that
I
jacket up and hang it up where
well,
it's supposed to go.
my feet landed gracefully. That's what really kind of confused my equilibrium. Was like, yo, how did I get here?
It was
Like, this is
because
not.
literally, simply, what it was I got tired of reprogramming you every time you came in the door. I had to deprogram you and reprogram you every time you came home. Like that, that was not gonna work. So I made sure that this time he saw me deprogram you as you walked through the door and dropped the jacket. I mean, big old hook sitting right there, y'all, right there on the wall. I'm like, oh, let me grab you and throw you back over there. Pick that up and put it where it's supposed to go, please. And thank you. He picked it up and was like,
Well,
sorry,
y'all
mom.
remember that scene from Karate Kid where Jaden Smith was like
Oh,
flinging the jacket up on the bro? That's how she flung me. I was the jacket. I wasn't Jaden. I really remember that day. Like I'm
yeah.
okay, yeah. And then and it was so like you thought that it was just so cool how you could just lift a 7-year-old boy's body off the ground with no problem. And it just made me feel like, you know what? Maybe my life's calling was not to be a musician. Maybe it was just a vehicle. Or a flying
A
or a
coat?
UFO. No,
No. Oh
my
my
calling is to
gosh,
be a
y'all help.
UFO, an unknown flying object.
Mm.
Because the blur that came from my body as you flung me, I was unidentified from then on.
Listen, this was my thing. I just needed him to catch on to what you had to go through coming home and what I had to go through when he brought you back like that. So I invited him in after you hung up the jacket and I said, now watch because I have to do this every time he comes home and we have an issue over here with that. So I don't know what you're doing over there, but before you bring my son home, can you reprogram him for me before he get here? Because that's a problem. So I waited, and Brandon wanted lunch, and Brandon decided to come in there and said, "Mom, can you go get me lunch and bring it to me?" I said, "No, but you can go in there and make your own lunch because there's nothing wrong with your hands, and you don't have stubs for arms. Go fix your lunch and come in here and set the table. That's what we do around here." And he went, "Oh, so he get in trouble every time he come home." I was like, "Every time, because over there you think that women are supposed to serve men. And that's not the way I run my household. Now it's okay for me to fix him something to eat if I'm up and I'm doing it. I don't have a problem doing that. But for you to expect for me to bring you something every single time that you're sitting down or every time you're hungry or be standing in the kitchen with me and then go, Mom, can you grab my juice? That's a problem. Or you call me from the kitchen to tell me to come get something from, yeah, no, we're going to stop confusing our child. If he can't fix his own plate, fine. He needs to sit there and watch them do it or something. But having somebody cater to him like that, no, that ain't life. That's not the way we're gonna work that out. So yeah, I changed that really quick, and we got a full understanding that before he brought him home, he needed to deprogram him and reprogram him to come home.
You
So
know what I don't like?
yes,
How reprogramming and deprogramming sounds like I was just a machine where it,
listen,
y'all didn't really care about me for real.
it's
Don't
the
worry about it. It's
Matrix.
okay.
Listen, I feel
It's
like
the
we lived
boy.
in
This
the
ain't no
Matrix.
matrix. This is my lunch we talking about. My stomach was growling. I came in hungry, expecting.
Hmm.
My mama was like, "Hey, listen, let me talk at you real quick." It wasn't no talking at all. Wasn't no talking.
But
It
your
was really
food,
like, oh
was there
no,
food in the refrigerator?
there was food. Okay,
Was
there was
it
food inside the refrigerator.
was it prepped
There,
most of the time?
I have no idea, but I think Lunchables was my go-to. So yes,
Hmm. Mostly the lunch that you made that was hot was already pre-prepped. All you had to do was heat it up.
right, but
Right. It's
like,
called fix it
right.
yourself.
See, this is why y'all gotta be careful. Don't be out here just making kids with everybody. Okay,
Right.
don't do it, because things like this happen where you confuse a child and therefore he feel like he the problem when both of y'all are the reason why, because one person decided they didn't want to commit or
Mm.
adjust, and the other person has to be more tougher than she should be, and therefore she actually gains the muscles that you wish you had, and is able to lift bodies off the ground without the body's
Don't
permission.
do
So
that.
just don't
Hey,
do that.
Miss Irene.
Don't make
Listen.
it seem like it. Don't do that. Okay.
I mean, after a while, he caught on too that he would actually, when he came to visit, remember he was there helping us when we moved, and he went in and made dinner himself. That was a blessing.
Oh, bruh.
Brandon
Boy,
stood there
nah.
in awe.
I was shocked because in my head I'm like, Negro, you know full well that you usually be at the house sitting at the head of the table, with your cup in hand, waiting for the ice and the juice to be there. You whole time just made me burgers, and they the most slapping burgers I ever tasted.
Mhm.
This is manna from heaven. This burger, boy, let me tell y'all how he broke this down, though. Anybody on here fasting before I start talking?
Mm-mm, don't go into food. We're not doing that today. All right.
Amen. So the way he would do that is by
Amber said,
first,
please don't go.
listen, just
Brandon,
look,
I'm finna move on from you and this food. So we answered Brandon's question. Anybody else got
amen,
anything
amen.
that has happened in their generation that they don't understand why it happened? But do you gotta understand it now, B? You understand now, right?
No, but we're
No.
gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna keep
Okay.
it going.
Oh my god. Mm. Take Tyrell's answer. Run without.
I don't want to do that. I
Oh
don't
my
feel like
god. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anybody else? Maya, do you got anything? Michael, we should have some stuff from back in the day too. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't have anything actually, cause I forgot the question. Mm.
Look, see how Brandon do? Brandon to mess you up.
I,
The-
I want to know why Maya still got them shoulders out. All right.
listen, because she out here like, listen, I am rest. I am preparing myself. Amen.
Well, can't nobody answer that but Maya. Go ahead, Maya. Or she looking for a new
I
picture one day.
feel like my answer is what it's always been. Ever since I heard my beautiful mother say this. We outside.
We outside. Hey, listen. It hit different when you coming out of a situation where everybody in the house against their will, and you got your mask up and all that. But when you get some sort of lenient okay to be downtown, whatever city you in, and it's vibing like that, boy, we outside. Forget all that. We outside in real life.
Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Okay, so I have a question for those who have ever been to a laundromat. Um, why do? Because okay, it could be just me. Why do people put their clothes in the top loaders like first, and then throw the dish detergent and stuff on top of it? And
Because they got Miguel knees. They don't want to have to
Brandon,
bend over
no,
and huh?
that's not it.
I just want to know why you say, wait, pause. We got to rephrase the question from the whole beginning. Because you see, this is what you see. And I want you to hear what you see. You said, why do people put the clothes in the top loader, then throw the dish detergent
Oh,
on top of the clothes? You're not
the... Listen,
That's
why
what
did we
she
use
said.
dish detergent? Let me tell y'all, my mama was weird. Why did she use dish detergent?
Because when you ain't got nothing else, you going to use the soap you got.
Okay, so now that question was answered. I never knew why because she would take a bottle with her, and I was like, we got the powder stuff. So why are we using that? But notice that I said that because that's what was taken with her. But she had that powder. You scoop it and you drop it over in there. I just don't understand in the top loader. Okay, this is my thought. If I'm putting detergent inside the washer first, right? And the water, you run water in there. If you close it, which is the way I wash now, I put it in there, put water in it so it can kind of dissolve a little bit in there so it's not in your clothes. And then I put the clothes over in there and let it finish washing if it's a top loader. That's the way I do it. I just never understood why people did it the other way. Hey, Robert, did it the other way. Hey, Jessica. Look, I'm just trying to make sure I speak. I never understood why people did it that way. Because don't the water get to the clothes and then you got all that residue? Isn't that the reason why the clumps and stuff be in your clothes? Or you got residue from the wash detergent?
No, it's because you got it's probably never mind. I don't have
You
clumps
say
in my
that because I
clothes.
want to hear this.
No, I don't have clumps in my clothes. First of all, I use liquid. I don't use the powder.
Okay.
Um, I use liquid. When I use the powder, I used to put it in the top loader, start the washer, let it fill up to the size, or start filling up to the size I need it, and then I'll add, so it can dissolve. Then I'll put
Right.
my clothes
See, that's
in.
the way I wash. Okay, I ain't crazy. So,
But now my stuff, I got one of them automated washers. Y'all be hearing it from time to time when we run it. I don't even have to do it. I just put it in there and forget it. I just want to know why we don't use the dispensers like we supposed to. We just put it on the clothes when they got a thing that measures it out and tells you, because yeah, we don't have to. Yeah, I'm quit.
yeah, that's true. We don't. We really don't. Y'all, even the part that say you put the bleach in here and you put the detergent in here, we just put it all in the thing and close it.
Well, I kind of, and my own question or answer for this one is because whenever I decide to wash clothes, sometimes y'all, to all the laundromat owners out there,
Mm.
please do maintenance on all your washers, please. Like, do maintenance on all of it. I understand it's money. I get it, 100%. But the next time I go inside of a group laundromat, a public laundromat, and the machine compartment is not running the water the way it should be, and it's only running one way, boy, all this going the same way anyway. So I'm just gonna dump it there.
Mm.
Bleach, detergent, fabric softener, if it's
Okay.
liquid. I ain't putting no powder in there because that's ghetto. But
Yeah, the
still,
powder thing I don't understand because my
and to all those people who don't understand how a public laundromat works, listen to me clearly. The next time you
somebody
put
got this.
powder anything inside of a compartment that didn't ask for powder, I promise you, your clothes is not gonna be there when you get back.
Say that again, because I don't be getting people can't read.
And
Reading is not fundamental. It's necessary.
It's necessary. It's
wait.
not an option.
Boys, ain't no. This is not select common
Oh
sense.
my
No,
gosh.
this is literally a requirement.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Flip tables like Jesus. If you ever decide in your life that you want to just go ahead and use powder, do that with your clothes in your own building with your own washer. Spend that extra 400, 300 to $200 on an independent washer. Talk to your management. Go to Walmart. They will help you as best as they can with the little knowledge they have. But still, make sure that you're doing that by yourself. If I ever find a piece of blue article of fabric inside my clothes that compressed together because you decided that powder was the best way to go, you will not have your clothes. And I know how to find people at laundromats. Just a heads up. I've developed that skill. Unfortunately, I don't think my mama taught me. I just think that I like stalking people who do dumb things to my
Oh my
belongings.
gosh. Listen,
So
y'all, this
just want to
thing
let
is
y'all.
serious. Y'all is serious about this here. Listen, this is why they created pods.
You feel me? And don't
And
do the
we-
stupid thing like putting a pod or trying to. I don't know who did this.
The pods ain't that great though. The
depending on
pods
which
ain't
ones
that
you do,
great.
you got to do the
The pods
combination
are
pods,
wonderful.
Micah.
You put them in the bottom. You put
I
them in the
don't like
bottom. You
them.
don't put them on top. That's weird. You put them in the bottom, and they melt.
We use them, but sometimes they wouldn't dissolve all the way. And I'm like,
That,
then you got pod plastic in your clothes. I didn't like it. So I just went
listen,
on back to
okay.
liquid.
So let me help you with that. That's the same thing as with the powder. If you got a top loader, you drop them in there first. You cut the water on. You start the water over them so they can dissolve all the way out, and then you put your clothes in. You only put enough warm water in there to dissolve the
Yeah, but
pod.
I got a smart washer. I have a smart washer, which ain't gonna start until
Oh,
it gets into the clothes. It
yeah.
got a close
That don't
sensor.
sound too smart,
You
man.
got to put it back where the water starts flowing through at the back of your water. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. See, I
So
can't help you on that one. I don't know. But see, for me, I take two different pods. I do the Tide pods and I do the Arm and Hammer pods and put them together. So I haven't had that situation since I started doing it.
so are we really talking about washing?
We are literally talking about the things that we deal with that we don't understand why we still do it, like the generational stuff. We started off with the roast, cutting the ends off the roast and putting them in the pan, and then we went from there to what was the other thing? Oh, deprogramming your children when they go to two different houses. You got people bringing you food over at this house, but over here you gotta go make your own food. And now we at the laundromat.
I don't know why y'all don't use liquid washing powder anyway.
I don't like the messiness of it.
Back up.
Did I
Did he
ask a
just say
question?
liquid washing powder?
Liquid.
Thank you, B.
I don't know what that is, man. Sounds like the liquids and gases are different.
I've never heard of liquid washing powder.
Detergent.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, my detergent. There you go. Liquid washing detergent. I don't know why y'all don't use that.
It's
You gotta make it
messy.
clear, man, because I was confused.
Brandon said liquid and powder together don't work.
That don't work, bro. Science class really
It was
got me in the
it's
funk.
literally it's messy. Like most of that stuff is like splashing, is you pouring it, you gotta measure it. It's just way too much when you're trying to go. My thing is throw the pods in there, get it going. And I got a system. So I be like, boom, 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 give me three washers. I got this light, dark, medium, boom, boom, I'm out.
Those pods ain't worth nothing. The powder ain't worth nothing. Just give me a good old fashioned liquid.
Mm.
It's
He
fine.
he like put the gain in there. Oh,
I got
let
a
me
funny
ask this question. I have a question about the dish powder. I mean the not dish powder, what is it, washing powder? Um my mama used to do something weird that I still don't understand. And me and Kelly had a whole conversation about this, which was hilarious. Cause I was like, wait a minute. My mama had this thing. Have y'all ever walked in y'all grandma or y'all mama house and they got this little cup on the side of their tub that actually got that powder in there? Did y'all know they using that to wash their bodies?
Bro, you talking about that blue cup that was sitting on the corner?
Yeah, my grandma used to have it. My
Yo,
auntie
that's
had
fucked
it.
up,
My
son.
mama did it. And I figured that's how I found out what it was. My mama used to scrub us with this stuff. And I was thinking, she don't like us. She really don't like us. Did anybody ever have to deal with that or ever saw that? It's like they keep this one little cup, like it's soap, in the bathroom.
No, I just remember having to take like
Was it so?
take the thing, and then
It's
grandma
it's
told me to put it
it's
back.
washing powder. I guess it's soap, but it's for your clothes.
I don't know about that. I ain't never had that done in my life.
Listen,
Mm-mm.
torture. I promise you, my grandma must have been doing some weird stuff because my mama did it, and I was like, "What is going on here?" She would
That
scrub
sounds like
us.
witchcraft.
Yeah, come on, listen.
Mm-mm. Demonic forces.
I was like, "Lord, come on, Mike. I know you got something with this." He said, "Demonic forces."
No, I just wanted to know why our grandparents had all those decorative soaps in their bathroom that we couldn't wash our hands with.
Bro, it's right there for a reason.
Hey, now, that's a good question. That is a good question because I never understood that.
It was for the aesthetics of the room. It wasn't for you to wash your hands with.
And, and then they have dry towels. Then they would have the dry towels, and they thought, "Oh, don't touch these towels. Why they in here for?
What is
Why
it? Oh,
What are they in there for?
you got dry towels hanging over the sink, and we can't touch them? Those were good towels. Well, what are you using for, G-Mall? They've been here for 6 years.
They
Bro, the
6 years
same
they've been
freaking
here.
towel. The same freaking towel. Like
The
my
same
man said,
towel.
if they hear
There's a
it's
lot of
meant to be
triggering
used,
going
wear your
on in
bad
this
towels
room.
if that's meant.
And then they had the mitigated gauze to fold them fancy. Why? Somebody
I swear, they
please
would have
explain
never
it to
thought
me.
that some white people was coming in. I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing.
What was the last thing?
I think that the reason why they wanted to make sure that everything was done perfectly is because they never knew when white people was going to be coming through. I think that's
No,
the
they,
thing.
it was decorative stuff. They friends come over, whatever. It was decorative because grandma used to tell us, you go in there. You like my grandmother had two drawers. One drawer had the towels that you use to dry your hands in, and the other one had her cute little towels, and them was her good sets that she went to Target and got or Walmart and got, and you had to take those and put the little ribbon on it and hang it over her towel rack for pretty stuff. Don't wipe your hands on her towels. And if you need to dry your hands, you either use some paper towels that's right there on the sink, or you use the towel that she laid across the sink. It's for decoration.
I don't understand that. That's like Well, I like okay. So is that kind of like the similar situation as to like having like China dishes that you can't use?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the
Now I
China
kind of get
dishes
it.
was expensive, so for them, it was more expensive stuff, and it was they good dishes.
So how much was the good towels?
Yeah, how much was those?
What the towel, the pack of towels
Yeah.
for them then probably was
Man, I
something
got
like
them
$10 or $11.
Goodwill. That's not lying. I've been with my grandma when she got them decorative towels. She got them at the Goodwill.
Oh, Granny, my grandma didn't do that. She did. If she got them from Walmart, then they was her decorative towels. If she got them from the Goodwill, you could use them.
You know what? I think God that the furniture stores don't sell China cabinets no more. Cause them China dishes was putting me through. You couldn't touch
Bruh,
it.
whole time I'm sitting over here like, when mama gonna get her China? I think it's probably gonna be when I leave.
Nope, I'm not getting no
Listen,
China.
look,
Oh,
I've been alive for 30 years and I never saw my mama use none of her China.
Mm-mm. You
boy, you
remember
were never allowed to even go in there.
the Brandon? Do you remember the set of dishes that the nurse where I worked at the hospital gave me? That brown set that you loved so much.
That I love so. Oh crap!
Yeah, those were China.
Sorry, mom.
Yeah, that's why I
Sorry.
will never buy China again. My
I
child did
apologize.
not understand. He broke almost all of the dishes.
That was not on purpose. Let's not say it like I just threw them down and crushed them to oblivion. They accidentally. Matter of fact, I remember it because I think this was the time where I was learning that metal and porcelain glass don't go together in the microwave. And
Yeah, there's a lot
yeah,
going on. He blew up things. He dropped them in the sink. Yeah, it was a lot. So after a while, when I started noticing that I was down to like a plate and then 2 cups, I just threw it
they
away.
said a plate.
I was
That's
like, it's
wild.
okay. Listen, Irene got some good questions going on in here. She said, why do some people use a rag versus a sponge
Wait, when
Wh-
washing,
when washing themselves? A rag versus a sponge. I don't
she
understand
said
using
washing
the
dishes.
sponge.
She said washing
With
dishes.
washing dishes,
I think it's probably because with a sponge, like trying to get if you got like dishes that have crevices, using a sponge, in my opinion, it's very hard to get in them crevices. Like I can't really get in the corners or like if you got like a bowl that has like a thing where it's like you gotta scrub the outside and then try to get inside of there with a fingernail. It's easier to do that with a rag because it's more bendable versus a sponge that just go back to its natural state. So
yeah, my thing was
usually
I
I just
can't really
use.
put pressure on that sponge like I could put it on the rag.
But I mean, like with stuff that don't have crevices, like pots and pans and whatnot. If you got like sponge that don't like scrape non-stick situations, then cool. But outside of yeah, no.
Well, I know my mama, rather would make us do the rag because her thing was you ain't getting them clean. That was one thing. And then she said in the second sink filled with bleach and water. Yes, that was to sanitize out to get the soap and water off of the plates or dishes or whatever. But my thing was, where's the sink that had the plain water and to get the bleach off of the dishes? That didn't happen. So you ain't had that third spot. And then she also, Maya said yes, and bleach in the bath water. Listen, Maya, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. That is just, she said, no, you microwave it. To get the tough stuff out of it. Irene, we going to talk more. Mm-mm. So, Maya, I used to talk about my sister all the time because my sister would do something. Now, mind you, my mama got this little cup of washing detergent, the powder stuff sitting on the side of the sink next to the ivory soap bar, right? And then you go in there, and my sister that went in there and took a couple of caps of bleach, like Clorox, straight bleach, before they had the no splash, that bottle. And she done went in there and poured it in there. Now the bathroom smelled like somebody's in there trying to clean something thoroughly. Like very, very thoroughly. It smelled like the house is being deep cleaned just from the bathroom. And she got hot water in the tub. Like this water got steam coming from it. And I'm thinking, I don't know what they cooking in this bathroom or whatever it is. I don't want none. That's the first thing. This girl was already light skinned. She would go and get in the tub. You got this bleach going, this dishwash powder, the washing powder stuff, and you got bleach and water, you in here scalding yourself and scrubbing yourself like crazy. I'm like, you can't get no whiter than you are. I don't understand. I never understood that. I was like, no, I don't need bleach in my water. And not being too graphic, but your hoo ha. Why do you want bleach there? Like, I don't understand. Somebody help me with that.
It's to disinfect.
That's nasty.
I don't know.
It was the fact that Robert had an answer. That's nasty.
Let him answer.
I mean, what you? Because I saw that before too. I mean, and I heard it before from like a lot of older women. They say put bleach in the water, put some bleach in the water, and I'm like, okay, okay. Why y'all putting bleach in the water? But I guess you want to disinfect yourself. By all means, go ahead.
With bleach? I mean, for a long time, they made me think that if I put bleach in the water, I'll turn light skinned.
Bruh, they listen, because when Michael Jackson, when they released that stuff about him bleaching his skin, yeah, started getting over.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, y'all. It was a pretty bad situation. I didn't understand why any of that was going. Y'all in these conversations. I already said no. You microwave it and it kills the germs. I, okay.
Microwave what? The bleach?
No,
Wait a
she's
minute.
talking about the dishes.
Microwave the sponge and it kills the germs.
Oh, microwave the sponge.
Oh,
Why are we microwaving
okay.
sponges? Wait a
Bro,
minute.
Because sponges are known to hold more bacteria than a dish rag or anything else because of the thickness. So what they tell you to do is put a little water, hot water in it, and a little water in it, and microwave the sponge. And don't do it dry because it'll start a fire. But you want a little water in it, and it'll kill the bacteria because of the microwaves. That's why you shouldn't use microwaves a lot to heat your food or reheat your food.
Because of
I'm gonna leave that
radiation.
alone too.
Because of
Radiation.
radiation. Yeah. Okay, so my thing with that too now is that you taking this nasty sponge and you putting it in your microwave where you microwave your food to heat it so that it can get rid of the germs. So those germs are now in your microwave. Do you take that same sponge and wipe the microwave back out?
No, and
Oh.
it's not. Why? Because you're killing the germs with the waves. The waves will kill it. It's frying them, so it couldn't. The only time you really get bacteria from a microwave is when it's not been cleaned and it's dirty. Um, so you have to clean it out. So you cleaning it out. You put it in there with a little water. And then it'll help it.
Okay. Yeah, Amber said, yeah, I microwave my sponge and then put white vinegar on it. Amber, what the white vinegar do?
Just keep it sterile till next time I use it. Well, I put white vinegar in a lot of stuff. I wash with white vinegar, so it's
When
very
you say you
useful.
wash, you mean clothes?
I
Yeah.
use it for like especially if when the child was younger and I just forgot about his cup, or I couldn't find it because
Yeah.
he hid it somewhere. I will put white vinegar and some Dawn in it just to get the sour smell out. And then, if I forgot about the towels because I was so tired or something and they smell sour, I put white vinegar in it, get the sour smell out.
Nah, I do that. So yeah, okay, I get that one. That's a good one. Let's just all use rags, is what Maya said.
Mother Amber J came in for the information. Look at Mother Amber J.
Yeah, she go
Wow.
look. She like, I'm gonna be quiet for a minute and then I'll come in. Okay, anybody else got any other questions about anything else?
Yeah, I just want to know why we had a room full of white furniture. That's all I want to know.
bruh.
Okay, I still don't understand that. And then it's got, did it have plastic?
You could not sit on that white furniture.
Did it have plastic? That's what I want to know.
No, this just the white furniture room. You knew you couldn't go in there. It was just white. The carpet was white. The furniture was white. I'm like, why are we wasting this space?
It was pretty and decorative to keep the house clean and the kids wasn't allowed to be in there so you didn't dirty it up. I get you. I don't understand that. That's why I've never had one. Now our family, I've never seen that. Like I've seen it at other people's houses, but my grandma and them, no. Grandma was like, these kids gonna mess up my furniture, so everything brown. Now that I think about it, B, everything has been brown in all our houses. Like
Yeah,
grandma, my
that's because
mama,
you know
and
you
my
have gonna have kids inside of the house, so it
mm-mm.
didn't make sense.
And even with the brown stuff now, I'm like, get rid of the furniture. We need new. But I promise you, if I go white, I'm doing what grandma and them did. Stay out of my living room.
But that's a waiting room though.
Yep, and that's where it's gonna stay live and white. Y'all go play in the bedrooms, in the dining room, in the other room. Yeah.
But I don't get it. That's a waste of a room. It's a waste of a room.
It's not. It's your pretty decorative room. You know how you go into those apartments and they have that one room that they set up for you to see the room, and this is the way it could look, and it's all set up and decorative. You could take pictures in there if you needed to, and all that stuff. That's
No,
what.
no,
That's what.
that's called staging. In real estate,
Yeah.
we call that staging.
That's exactly
Okay,
what it is. They stage a
we're
room
not.
that you
We're
can
not.
come in.
No. We live here. Okay, it's called a living. It's called a living room. It is made to be lived in. Okay, it's made to do things. It's not. We're not staging nothing. Get rid of the white. I can't stand white. I don't like seeing white. I don't like white walls, white carpet, white couches. No, I can't stand it.
I had a friend
So
that
I
had
want
the
the white.
white stuff, and she would tell her kids to go sit on the floor. They had to sit on the carpet on the floor. Don't touch the couch and stuff and stay off the table, but just sit on the floor to watch TV.
Yeah, nope, nope. I don't care what anybody says. Nope, ain't nothing white in my house. I can tell you, I ain't got a. Only thing I got white in my house are baseboards. That's it.
What's this little balloon? Is this the anniversary balloon or no?
I don't know. Don't give me. It's not my birthday. My birthday is today. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the anniversary of when you came up to.
Anniversary. I think it's 1 year.
You says what,
What is
Michael?
I think it's the 1 year anniversary belong. It might be two, but I don't know.
Okay, just had to make sure. Let's see.
no?
Irene said, "I'm with Robert for what housing costs are. I'm using every square inch." Irene said she gonna use every square inch of that house because it costs too much. Listen,
Yeah, you spend a good money on a nice apartment, on a nice house. You think I ain't gonna use that living? Y'all, you out of order. My
no,
mama
he said
used.
you out of order.
My mama did that until I told her. I said, "Listen, this don't make sense. My room is about a living room. So you mean I can't walk through the living room to get to my room or to the kitchen? That's crazy."
My thing was, I think with me, even though we didn't have the white stuff, my thing was if you gonna go in there and sit in the front, you gonna clean up in the front. So if you go in there messing up anything, you better clean it up before you come up by there. And if you don't, then you don't go back in there. So B would just go in and sit real close to the end of the couch and not take nothing with him. He just sit there watching TV. B, now that I think about it, you did everything you could do not to clean up.
Wait, what was talking about?
When you would go into the living room, when I would say if you're going to messing up, whatever you mess up, you clean up. You would go into the living room and sit on the couch all the way to the edge of the couch and just sit right there in that one spot.
Because wherever I mess up, I'm gonna have to clean up, right? It don't make sense for me to cause more work for myself. This is my pocket of the couch. Don't nobody else usually sit in this pocket of the couch because subconsciously and a social experiment like thing is that I sit in this pocket of the couch. So whatever obtains or crumbs or um, unidentified objects is here, it's because of Brandon. Brandon cleans up this spot. I never was good at that, but at the same time, we know it came from me. So no, no,
That's so
I'm not
bad.
cleaning up nothing else. Nothing in the TV because I wasn't in the TV unless I was putting in the Tarzan movie. That was it.
Oh wow. Lord. Y'all. Y'all. All right. So anybody else before we transition off of this conversation?
Oh, I got a question.
What?
Why did Okay, so you remember how grandma pretty much was never a person where she wanted to travel. Why is it that like older people kind of seem like they were afraid to go outside of their native state?
Well, for my mom, her husband messed her up, like, because she had married him when she was 16 and he never took her anywhere but in a car. So his thing was when they drove to Alabama or they drove to Tennessee, that's the only time she left the state was with her husband going there and coming back. Mom was afraid to get on flights because he told her, you better not get on that thing because it's not like a bird, it's going to fall out the sky. So he would tell her the only way you get on the airplane is if they take the wings off. So mama said until they take the wings off of that, she wouldn't get on the airplane.
That sound like my granddaddy.
Yeah, that I was like, why did he mess my mother up like that? He wouldn't fly and she wouldn't fly. My mother said, nope, your daddy said you gotta take the wings off first. And I'm like, they don't come off, mom. They're part of the plane. And mom was like, mm-mm, he said they gotta come off first. And I was like, why are you listening to him? Like, let me show you how planes work. Like literally, that's what keeps them in the air. She was like, no. So she would make random promises. Yep, I'm gonna go to Florida with you. Yep, I'm gonna go do this with you. Yep, I'm going. And then a week before we gotta go, she tell me, you know, I changed my mind.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell y'all. My grandmother was the same way. But my uncle, I mean, not my
No,
cousin, paid for all my great aunts to go to St. Martin. The only way you get into these U.S. Virgin Islands is by plane. But my grandma would always say, if God meant for me to fly, He would have gave me wings. So my grandma reluctantly went on the trip, and she went. She flew. She flew there, and she flew back. And when she got back, uh, she said, I wish I wouldn't have been so afraid to fly because I've missed so much because I was afraid to fly. And flying on a plane was just one of the most amazing experience she had. And she often said before she passed away, she said, one day I'm gonna fly again. But she didn't. Well, she didn't get to fly on the earth. But she always told me, Mike, don't be afraid, because I used to be afraid of planes. She's like, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. And now I've done flown a couple times, and like now I'm like, well, if I can get there in 2 hours, I'd rather fly for 2 hours than drive for 16. So that's that's where we get it. A lot of them were afraid of those things.
yeah, I was afraid to until I had B and started being like part of the parent council at the school, and they would send us to different states to go and represent the school or get information to bring back for our kids. And once I joined and started really being more active at the school and finding out when they first started doing No Child Left Behind, they sent us to Ohio. They were like, we got to get on a flight. And I was thinking, can I just drive? I'll just drive. I'm good. Because again, he didn't talk mama, mama done taught me, and I thought about it. That's just crazy. That's dumb. I can get on this flight. It was just interesting trying to get to the airport and walking through there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I've never been in the airport. Like all of these years. And here I am, and I got to be about 27, and I've never been in the airport. So I'm walking through the airport, just looking around like, oh, it's like a mall in here, just enjoying my sights. And I realized you need to get the TSA like quickly. Got there and then figured out they stopped me, y'all, because I had a big old bottle of water, and they stopped me with the big bottle of water, and there was something else I had in my bag that I didn't realize you're not supposed to take anything over 4 ounces with you. So they completely stopped me. Like everybody else is moving, and here comes my teacher, the teacher lead, that comes back saying, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, "They won't let me in. I don't know what's happening." It's like she got this bottle of water. The water bottle is open. It looks suspect. So I'm like, I get why now. But then it was just like, I don't. It's just water. Until she was explaining to me that it could be anything, and they have to be safe and all of this stuff. And I'm walking through like they are pouring out my good water. I do not understand what is going on. But I get on that first flight, and I was excited about the flight. until it went off, until it actually took off. I wasn't so excited about it then, but I was good when we landed. I was like, okay. Then my thought was, now how am I gonna get home? Because that was scary. So I had to build myself up to be able to ride back, and I came home alone. So it was like, man, after that first one though, once I got that down, it was I was done. And then I decided that B would not wait until he was in his 20s to take a flight. So the day he graduated from high school, the next day I took him. Well, no, not the next day. When did you go? You graduated that Friday. That Monday we left and we went to Florida. So he's been flying ever since then. Like, you got to break these things, y'all. We can't be stuck in those places where we scared to do the stuff our parents didn't do. They didn't do it because they weren't raised to do it. And thinking about it, coming from my grandmother was when she was younger was a slave. So here it is that y'all are in this situation where y'all don't travel. You already don't really get into cars and buggies and all that stuff. You're walking everywhere. Now they ain't gonna teach you about flying. They don't know about it. So we have to break those curses. That's what I got for that. Anybody else? Awesome. I'm going to take this time to take a break. We are on F2G Radio live on all platforms. This live week, y'all, f2gradio.net is where you're listening to us. If you are on Facebook, you are at f2g.radio or f2g.entertainment. And we are live also on YouTube at Faithful to God Network, and also on my personal YouTube at I Am Tennille. But we are giving you conversation straight from Clubhouse. And the Clubhouse crew that's on is at f2g.network. So join us for this conversation. We got Maya on the platform, Robert's on the platform, Tyrell's on the platform, Michael's on the platform, Amber J is on the platform, Kelly will be back to the platform, and we got B Snow in the building, finally.
Yeah.
On the platform with us. So as we take this quick break, y'all, thank y'all for joining us. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning across the board. Thank y'all for joining us. We love you guys so much for being on with us and listening in with us. We will be right back. And when we come back, we're going to make some announcements. And then we're going to go into the second half of this because we're going to get into some real generational curses that need to be broken. We're going to get to conversating today. All right. So give us one moment. We'll be back with y'all in just a second. Y'all are amazing. Let's go.
Release this in your atmosphere. I know you've been defeated before. I know you fell before. I know you've been sick before. Generations and curses. But I want to let you know that God is changing your story. God is changing your story.
sauce. Thank you.
We're retarded, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, we are back. You are listening live to F2G Radio. I am Tennille. I'm your host for this morning social. And y'all, I am laughing at our crew that's on here talking today. But we are here to boost your morning, get you started, to give you some insight, to actually break some curses on today. And we've been talking about the things that we learned over the years from our parents and our grandparents and just people in general and breaking things down from there on. Why do we do this? In a fun way. But we're gonna get more into this and have a bigger and better conversation. So now we're opening our platform up to questions. And so with that, it's pretty much the same as where we started. We're just switching it over to having more generational curses questions. And how can we break these generational curses? And again, we are live right here. Before we start, though, I'm going to let B Snow talk about the sound check. There's some of our announcements going on. Let's get it.
Yo, what's the word, peoples? I hope everybody is well. Listen, August 19th, we are having back the one and only sound check plenty showcase and open mic. Listen, this thing we kind of made a twist to this because we didn't want this to just be a showcase. We wanted this to be a full experience. So we added a few personal things that I think a lot of people will enjoy. First things first is we're gonna be having the networking mimosa social. That thing there. Now, when they said, "Listen, let's do mimosas," I'm like, Lord Jesus, there's about to be some people in here. But listen, according to my sources, Amber J will be the one that will be conducting all the different types of mimosas and everything of that nature. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. That's the time for you to be able to share about your business if you have one, or even just about your skill set and what you do as a career. Also, we're gonna be doing a live radio segment for F2G Radio. So it's gonna be live audience, and you get to be a part of that excitement. So you guys are able to do that as well, and that will be hosted, I believe, by Camille. And then outside of that, after we get done with those two amazing situations, we got a live band by myself, including Jaden Williams and Just DC, sorry, as the bass player. And then we're gonna be having a showcase, you feel what I'm saying? It's gonna be a thing. The open mic and showcase collab is gonna be an amazing time. We have Brie Alexandria in the building, we got Devin Holloway in the building, we got the third, man, my God, for real. And we have last but not least, Walla Smalls is gonna be the master of ceremonies for that day. So you guys make sure you guys are tuning in for everything that's gonna be happening August 19th. Get your tickets because they are actually selling out. So y'all make sure y'all do what y'all need to do to get into the building. All right. Love and peace.
Did we talk about the online streaming?
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, and I understand this now. There's a lot of people that's been hitting me up like, "Hey, listen, I'm all the way in this different state, or I have to be at work during that time." That is definitely okay. We have made it, and I have spoken with the sound engineer and everything like that to make sure that we are able to give you guys an online broadcasting of the show. So if you can't make it, then you can go ahead and purchase that ticket for the online showcase. You wouldn't be able to see the Mimosa Social or the live radio interviews, but the showcase and the open mic segment you'll be able to view. So if you guys would like to do that instead, you guys definitely can go on eventbrite.com, look up F2G Soundcheck for August 19th and purchase your ticket like that. Otherwise, if you want to be in the building, see the full experience, go ahead and capture that $30 ticket. Make sure you guys are locking in, and then we can get it rocking and rolling from there. All right? Love.
All
Am
right,
I
y'all.
missing anything?
And make sure that you check back in with us because we talked yesterday and I did say that we were going to have a discount for those who are on Patreon because when you're a patron or when you are part of this house, there's a certain discount that you can get for being part of this house, and then there's also a discount for you being a patron subscriber. So that's a different thing. So you get to pick one or the other on that, and we'll make sure that you have the codes to be able to do that. We will be going forward with that, and we do check everything. So just know, if you buying tickets for somebody else, you got to buy them under your name because I look for names and I come back and look to make sure you're a house member, and then I go back and say okay. If not, I boot it back and say okay, try it again. So we just we're gonna make sure that it all works out for you and how you need to get it done because we want to make sure that everything is working and working that way. Now, outside of that, we want to make sure that you are joining us on patreon.com/F2G. That's Patreon .com/F2G. F, the number two, the letter G. The reason why we're telling you to go over there is that you can see our exclusive interviews. You can see our teachings. You'll be able to be added into the upcoming teachings and also check out some new things that we're doing. But that's where you get most of your discounts from and your merch. All of that stuff will be on patreon.com. That's the way we support the radio station as well. So make sure you are following us and subscribing to everything that we're doing because you never know what's going to happen or when we're going to be in your city. All right. Check out L2GRadio.net. That's where you're listening to us live on the radio. We are an international radio company and we are also an indie radio company. Listen, y'all, by God's rules, not by theirs. You hear me? That's the way we roll. So I want y'all to check us out. Make sure you're subscribing. The newsletter is going out this week. We have been working diligently on this newsletter because we want it to be nice, but it's coming out for y'all this August, and we are gonna have fun because we are going to have our way to make sure that we get what God wants us to do out there. So let's get back to this conversation. I'm jumping right over into the comments. Um, MJ said, "Y'all pray for me and my patience today is bad." Listen, is we talking about with my God baby, or we talking about with the people on the phone? Are you working?
Yeah, she working.
Okay, so we talking about that. Lord, cover over Amber's patience. Let the security guard in her rest. And I ask you, oh God, to bring the intercessor out and just let her pray for the people instead of yell at the people. No hanging up, no going back. That she be able to make sure her conversation is caught up in your will in Jesus' name. Amen.
Why do you
Amen.
say caught up like that? Caught up in your will.
Amber said God's delinquents is on the phone. Okay, Carlos, what you laughing at?
Wow.
Hi, hey Carlos, how are you? Welcome to the platform.
Hey, how are
Good, good. All right, y'all. Let's start the second half of this conversation because we got about 30 more minutes or 40 more minutes, and we're gonna be out of here. But I want to make sure that we are having this extra conversation. Let's talk more about generational curses. Now we talked about some of the funny things that have happened that we just didn't understand. Let's talk about some of these generational curses that need to be broken and how do we break them. So if you had to choose a generational curse that you've noticed in people um, that has been going on for a while, and people just seem to think that it's okay because that's where we are. Those things that have been resting and sitting, and nobody's been trying to break these curses. Nobody's been trying to cast them out. What would they be? So, Michael, what you got?
I walked away and I was talking to my wife about all the wonderful yard work she did yesterday. Sorry, I missed the question.
It's all the wonderful. Thank you. Let give her honor, okay? Cover her in that honor. What are some of the generational curses that go on in our lives that we that nobody's really trying to break? That is just naturally part of our generations, and that we feel like, or you feel like, that need to be broken. And how can we break them?
There's several hundred thousands. Uh,
I need you to pick
um,
one.
I think I don't know. I've changed my mindset about poverty. People say, there is generational poverty and people can break it, but sometimes some people got to learn from where to come from because you don't respect it if you already got it. So I don't know. Let me come back to you and think about that.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Nobody? Anybody? A little bit of somebody? Everybody quiet this morning. Tell me what
What's
you
the
got.
question again? I'm sorry. I'm kind of doing a lot.
Listen, we're gonna have to put these questions in a thing because y'all know I'm repetitive. The question was to choose a generational curse that we feel like people have not even decided to break, but we need to be able to figure out how to break them.
Poverty is one. I believe poverty is something that is a curse, but it's something that I feel like people have chosen to live into. Um, generational curse of bondage. I think people just choose. I think we've become so um, comfortable living down with things of our past, the trauma, rejection, and all these things that we find it to be part of our natural nature versus something that we need to break off of us. And we've learned how to also well cover it up. And we've learned how to cover it up. We learn how to mask it so we don't say anything about it. So now it becomes part of our natural nature. And we feel like it's something that we don't have to be free from. Um, but yeah, I think there's a lot of them that kind of like what Pastor Micah said, the great apostle said about, there's just a lot that things that we need to uh, figure out. I mean, a lot of things that we have become comfortable with that now we as the people, we don't see them even as generational curses anymore, but we see them as these are our personalities, these are things that we were born into, these are our traits. And it's not that, it's that we just don't understand the ramification of there really being it's really bondage upon us. And until we learn that these are curses and that we learn that these are things that we need to be free from, they become natural nature. So I think that there's a lot of things that we need to just look through. Uh, the things that we need to become free from and, you know, just dig deeper into. And we'll realize that once we become free from these things, our life will be a lot better. But we have to first learn what are the things that are of God and what are the things that are not of God. Because the sooner we learn that, then we'll realize what are curses and what are things that have been put upon us, even from past generations, versus things that are really our personality traits and things that are really, meant for us to carry around. So I think it's a lot. That's a really deep subject to dig into because a lot of times we we've made these things part of our personalities and we
Mm-hmm.
don't look at them as being curses or anything. We look at these things as just being this is who we are. This is who I am. This is who I am. And I see it a lot. When I counsel people, sometimes I look at it. I hear people say all the time is, "Oh, I just have trust issues. Oh, I just have this. I just have that. Uh, I have this. I have that." And a lot of times it's not us. So, and I think that's just become the issue. So, but yeah, that's it.
That was good. That was real good. That was a really good explanation of it. It's just part of your regular life, part of what we go through, and we think of it just as that. It's just normal because we've gotten so used to it happening. One of the things I want to bring up is even down to mental health and things of that nature. I've learned that most of our culture, most of our people are rather, they would just rather take medication than to go to counseling. So it's like pills over, having to personally talk about what happened. So what do you all think about that? Is that just a habit that's been formulated from generations, or do you think that's also a personal or just a personal decision for people? Maya, wait, Kelly back. Hey, Kelly, go ahead.
Hey, my apologies, but got caught on the meeting. I sometimes I feel like it could be a personal decision. On the other hand, it depends on um when it was started uh for that person. If it came to taking medication, if it was started by them or someone else. So um I feel like people who don't want to deal with certain stuff can make it a personal decision because they don't want to deal with it, whatever the situation could be. So I think it could go either way.
Okay. Anybody else? I think that was a really good answer, though. All right, listen, I think that was a really good answer. Go ahead, Tyrell.
I think that as far as taking medication or things, I think just because we come to a place in our life and generation in this time where we don't believe in demonizing people. So we believe to say it's easier to say, oh, you have a mental illness versus you have a demon. You have a spirit, you have something going on with you. And if we learn to understand what things are versus, always trying to demonize somebody, put a mental illness on somebody, and just call it for what it is. Like a lot of these things that people deal with, it's not that you're bipolar, it's that you have a demon with you. And there's a demon living in you. And you need to be delivered. I don't care how much Holy Ghost you got, I don't care how many tongues you speak. There's something there and it needs to be, and you need to be delivered. So yeah, there are some times we will put medication over things to say, uh, oh, this medication will help them. No, the medication will just teach you how to suppress that demon that you have versus just dealing with it from its root. Some of these things are deep rooted and it don't need medication. It needs deliverance. And it needs somebody that can talk you through the process of being delivered and staying delivered. And I think that that's what it is that, a lot of times when people believe in, oh, cast the devil out, which is a good thing. I believe in casting out demons, but I also believe in walking through the process of staying delivered, counseling you through deliverance, how to maintain your deliverance so that it does not come back. It's not that, you're bipolar, it's not that you're mentally off, it's that, you have a demon and there's certain things in your life that you have done and to open up the doors to these spirits. And if you don't have if you don't have the right kind of information and the right kind of wisdom to know how to not open up these doors again and how to stay delivered, yeah, we can cast that devil out, but it's going to come back, which to you may seem like it's more of a mental illness because nobody has taught you how to maintain your deliverance. It's the same thing like if a person deals with depression. There is bipolar depression where, one moment you're up, one moment you're down. Spirit of depression is the same thing. There may be a time where, you're dealing with depression, where you're not always depressed, but it may come upon you every now and then. But if we cast out the spirit of depression, if we get you free from the spirit of depression, we don't know what opened up that door, right? And if we don't know what opened up that door, and then nobody talks to you, but they just cast a demon out of you, whatever opened up that door to depression, you're going to reopen that door again, and then it's going to seem like, oh, now they need medication. We've tried deliverance, we did this, we did that, but nobody has talked to you, nobody has counseled you into knowing how to maintain your deliverance from depression. Because deliverance is not just a one-time thing to where a demon get cast out of you or where you purge and all of that. Deliverance is an everyday process where it takes work. You know what I'm saying? It takes counseling, it takes maintaining. We have to maintain deliverance. And that's from anything, whether it be from a lifestyle, whether it be from a spirit, whatever. There's a maintaining of deliverance that has to happen. And if we do not start teaching people how to maintain their deliverance, then they're always going to go back. Majority of the time, you're always going to find yourself back. But when it comes back, it's going to come back with that one plus 7 more. So it's going to come back even a lot greater. So we got to think that we need to start teaching people. And I'm not saying I'm against medicine. I'm not against medication at all. Because I do believe that there are certain things that cause us chemical imbalance. But even in that, that is a spirit of infirmity. That is a spirit of disease. It's not because you were created like that. God made us perfect. So anything that happened in that process was caused by something else supernatural to cause your body to act like that. But if we don't teach you how to be free from that, and we don't teach you how to maintain that, then what we do is we put you in danger of struggling with this thing for your whole life, and it teaches you that your life will never get better because that's what demons do. Then people think demons are, oh, they just want to come in our life and they want to kill us. A lot of times they don't have to physically kill us. A lot of times their job is not to physically take you out, but their job is to literally stop you from obtaining your full purpose and stop you from obtaining your full destiny. How can I do that? What I can do is I can hide out in your body, hide out under your flesh, and every time every time you're about to hit something great, I put a halt there, or I cause you to act a certain way, or I cause the spirit of depression to rise upon you, and then you struggle with this depression. You get this, you get that, And then all these things happen to where now your life seems like it's up in turmoil and you don't know why. Oh, I've been free from this for 6 months. I wasn't experiencing depression. I wasn't experiencing that, but nobody taught you to be delivered from it. So now this thing has come back, and no, it may have not manifested in the last 6 months, but the moment you're about to be on the edge of breakthrough, it manifests again because now it's stopping you from your breakthrough. That's a way of spiritual death. I don't necessarily have to kill you physically, but I can kill you spiritually so that you never grow.
I have a question about like even the medication thing. So with the medication part, and thank you Tyra for that. The medication part for me is that people medicate to suppress what's happening with them. Some people medicate, self medicate. The people that are giving them medications for subscriptions and stuff, those things are to bring them down. Most of the time, if it's even in a child, I feel like the parents are just trying to quickly solve a situation instead of taking them to counseling to find out what's actually wrong with them. Let's go ahead and, or if there's anything wrong with them, let's go ahead and just give them medication to make this go away or pacify it because it's not leaving. It's literally just medication covering it to keep them submitted to just a softer reaction of what's going on around them. It doesn't change. All it does is when they get older, allow them to explode more because when they come off that medication, you finna get all that good waiting, all that stuff that's been sitting and trying to figure out where it was going to go, you're getting all of that back. So my thought behind that, as far as making sure that we do something different so that we can break these curses, is stop medicating our children first. First things first is get somebody to evaluate them that has a license. That's not just the counselor at the doctor's office, but actually has a license in psychology or a psychiatrist that can sit down with them and actually talk to them and diagnose them correctly and get somebody who knows about their culture. I am all for that. Everybody that's going through classes, they all know what they're doing because everybody reading the same books. Okay, great. But in my culture, if I'm looking at that, I'm a black woman, I want a black counselor. I want somebody who's lived some of the stuff that I went through because as a white counselor or any other nationality, you can't tell me that this situation is only because of my mental state. No, if I'm constantly getting pulled over by the police or I've been arrested for no reason or I've gone through the abuse from just the society that I'm in, you can't tell me about that because you've never experienced it. So you're never going to understand what I went through. You're never going to be able to help me in that area. So yeah, you might be able to help me where I'm going through a physical thing. You might be able to help me where it's just a mental thing because of something that happened that happens to everybody. But if it comes to me being a black woman, you won't be able to help me with that. So I feel like for cultural reasons, we need to have counselors that have gone through or are aware that this could be something that they would have to live through or even deal with. And they've had to deal with that with their friends, with their family members, and they can walk you through that because they understand. I haven't met a Caucasian counselor yet that's been able to help me through that, which is why my counselor now is African American, and not just that she's Jamaican, so she's been through some other stuff. So just sitting and talking to her for her being here in the U.S., she has a different insight on who I am as a woman, and as a black woman too in America. So, yeah, make sure that you're getting counseling, have them evaluated, evaluate yourself. Don't just try to self diagnose yourself. Go get somebody else to tell you that what you're thinking about you is not it. Because literally, y'all, for so long with everything that I went through, I thought I was bipolar. I went to a counselor, a female counselor, Caucasian woman, who told me that she felt like I had bipolar syndrome when I was older. And I went to her, got this diagnosis, and was thinking, yeah, well, I kind of thought something was wrong, not understanding all of the stuff that had went on before, but I knew I had been through some stuff. So I get to her, I go back to my doctor, I tell the doctor what she says, but because my doctor, who is a Russian guy, he never he his thing was, I've been around you for over 15 years now. That doesn't make sense. He's the one who sent me to her. He was like, I don't agree with this. He turned around and sends me to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist sits with me for about 30 minutes and go, you are not bipolar. Nowhere near bipolar. Depressed, yes. Bipolar, no. Then he goes into there's a medication that you can take that'll help you with this. So I go, okay. I didn't take the medication. We filled the medication. When he told me, you can get a counselor from these people, I called these people. I asked for a counselor and I told them I need a female African American counselor. They said, we may not be able to do that. I said, if you can't, give me somebody else that will. They sent the counselor I currently have, and she's been my counselor for 4.5 years almost. Excuse me. But she was the one that was able to, almost 5 years, yeah. She's the one that was able to break through a lot of the walls that I had up because it was easier to talk to her. I felt more comfortable talking to her. And the first thing she said was, you're not bipolar. That depression is not that deep. You've been through some stuff. So, yeah, I think that you're depressed. But who wouldn't be after going through what you went through? She said, so the medication you're not going to take, we're going to have these counseling sessions. We're going to talk. And she said, one of the things that she subscribed to me, let me tell y'all, this subscription was the best subscription ever. She says, time to travel, time to go some places, get out of this city and go somewhere. Let's get on some boats and take some trips. Let's get on some flights and take some trips. That's what you need to be doing. And that's what I started doing. And as soon as I started moving about, I started feeling better about me. I'm not stuck in a place. I had to get out of that place called stuck because I was like, I'm tired. It's time to move forward and move on with your life. And that's the way I deal with things. I travel now. I'm not going to sit around here on no medication. I do my counseling sessions twice a week and I got to go. So that's the way we need to start working with things. Learn what will help you naturally over taking medications, but also getting counseling because yes, black people do get counseling. I don't care what you've been taught. Black people do get counseling and we need it. They get it. Right? They apparently they already know it does something. Counseling does something. So start looking at things that way. Because they ain't just getting it just to be getting it. They're getting counseling because they know it's gonna help them. And they don't want us privy to it. So it's time to adjust. Um
So I wanna piggyback in real quick.
mhm.
It's really not about them knowing that it helps. It's about us breaking the stigmatism that we're crazy. Um, um, and I don't think the stigmatism comes from the opposite race. To be honest, I believe it comes from our own culture. Because when I was younger, or even watching TV as younger, or hearing people deal with mental health, they would always hide it or feel shame about it because their cousin or their nephew or their brother has some issues that nobody really sent them to a counselor to get dealt with. Um, there's always been plenty of black counselors. Now it's more on the rise,
Mhm.
but there's always been plenty of black counselors. There's always been plenty of good counselors. I've had bad black counselors. I've had good white counselors. And I know that's not what you were stating. You have to find a counselor that works for you. Um, and yes, you got to know how to question. You felt like you ain't need medicine, so you ain't take it. And you went and found somebody who can help you through it. Uh, but so many times I feel like in our community, we always cover up something. We always in the cover up mode. We always feel like we gotta hide something. We always feel like we gotta hide our money in a couch. We gotta hide our personal records in a vents. We gotta hide that somebody got a house. Don't tell nobody you got an alcohol problem. Look how much hiding we do, and look how bad it's gotten. We even hide people who commit crimes and kill our neighbors, and we won't even tell. Why? Because we're afraid of the backlash. We don't move, especially in our community, because we're afraid. A lot of us are afraid of the backlash. What people think. What are they going to say if I show up? And so much stuff is done in secrecy and dark. And we have to break the mentality that we're afraid of what other people gonna think. Listen, you gonna do good, they gonna talk about you. You do bad, they gonna talk about you. So why not work on you getting better and let them talk about you getting better? Let them talk about your change and how you've improved in your life, and now how you not walking around mentally in distress or broken because you went and got the help that you needed. And I feel like we always shaming folks for getting what I'm not going to no doctor. I don't need no mental doctor. So you walk around for 36 years carrying depression because you don't want to talk about it. So, I just wanted to chime in because I take a mental health coaching course. I'm trying to become a mental health coach. I'm trying to, move and break some stigmas and help some things on the way. That's one of my things. So I just wanted to chime in there.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, because everybody has their opinion about stuff. I just know what worked for me and how it went in for me and what I saw from me and my house. I should say that because I even learned with B as a child that having him in the room with a Caucasian man that's talking to him did not help him at all because he's never lived through what my son is going to go through and what he's experienced so far. And so bringing in a black man that had gone through so much in his life to get to where he was and the struggles he had to go through that helped me when he was younger. So that worked for us. So that's okay. I mean, I get that. I am in agreement with you on making sure that we start to break these things and allowing ourselves to understand that we're not always crazy. Like some of us do have some issues. Let's be 100. There are some of us that actually have some issues. So don't be running around here talking about they said that we ain't crazy or that I said you don't need medication. I said for me. That's the way I started that off. For me. That was for me. You are you. If you need to do what you need to do, if medication is something that you definitely need, I say get evaluated. Make sure that you are understand. Pray about it. See what God tells you to do and go from there. That just worked out for me where I didn't have to take it and I no longer have to take it now. So that's good for me. I am good in this hour. Listen, y'all, it's 9:42. We are still going. Does anybody else have any other conversation that we add to this? Maya, you were in the comments. What were you talking about, ma'am? Oh, she said saying what happens in this house stays in this house.
Oh yeah, I always hated that. I always hated that because I just felt like to me that's not what loyalty is. That's how I was as a kid. I was like, that's real to me. To me, I said, in the company of my family, I said that sounds kind of messed up. And they said, "How that's messed up? That's loyalty." But to me, I don't know if y'all see the Christian animations. I was doing one of them voices. Y'all be looking at those anyway. But if you
Mm-hmm.
pray anyway, I'm having a good time. Whatever. Yeah, I would feel like that was like that's false loyalty. Like just trying to cover no matter what, and then we
Mm-hmm.
not gonna talk about it when we at home. It's not even in the house. It's just in my body somewhere, and I gotta cover that up too. Like I can't feel it and tell you about it either. That is just not gonna work. That's just not gonna work. Avoiding the truth ain't never gonna work anyway.
Well, that goes back to what Michael was saying about having things happen and hiding things and covering things up. But even in that process of, I get that part of having it in you and they telling you to, what happens in this house stays in this house. That's them covering it up. That's because they know they're doing something wrong. I don't care what nobody says about that. That's been my opinion on that since I was a child. You're telling me that because you don't want people to know what you're doing to me. Or you're telling me that because you don't want people to know what you're doing to yourself in this space. What happens in this house stays in this house because when you go outside the door, you're an imposter. You're being something different. You, as Kelly calls your representative, is walking around outside talking to people and, they're having a good day and everything looks great and, all of this goodness is happening around you and you're giving off all this good light. But when you come home, you demonic. As soon as you walk through the door, things are flying, you acting up, everybody's getting yelled at. I think I've come to the point in my life where, and I've probably been like this for a little while now, that it is what it is with me. You gonna get me inside of this room, inside of this house, and I'm the same way when I'm outside. If I'll choke you up inside the house, I'll choke you up outside. If you run up on me and you get put down, the same thing is gonna happen to you if we at home. I don't change. I try to stay the same all the time. I'm not gonna sit and hobnob and just ha 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 in your face and then turn around and talk about you behind your back. Nope, I'm gonna tell you to your face the way I feel about you in your face. It's just I'd have nothing to cover because my first thing is who gonna check me? I'm grown. The second thing is I'm not finna let nobody disrespect me or my family and then go outside and have to hang with that. I'm not gonna sit in my home and make you feel like you less than. One of the things I tell B is that you can go to work and work can be a bad day, but when you come home, home is where you're loved. Why? Because I wasn't safe at home, so I try to make home safe. Now we've gotten to situations where we be in here about ready to scrap, getting it in wholeheartedly. I'm honest to that. You grown, let's get it. This is no longer child abuse. This will be a fight, bruh. Let's go. This is I don't this is not the way I am, but I'm the same way outside. If I'm outside with you and you acting up, where you act up is where you get got at. This is what we doing. That's with whoever. But I'm not gonna tell you that what happens in our house stays in our house. I hate that. You're hiding things. And I believe for me, my thought has always been who started that? And I feel like that started in slavery time with a whole thing where people sneaking around and folks sneaking in your cabin and they sleeping with everybody and that happened here, but don't bring it up no more. And you be quiet about this. And then when you going off some places and you're as generations went on, it still became the same thing. Be quiet about what's happening. Then it turns into a pedophile situation. What happens here stays in this house. And it just grew from that. So many kids that I've talked to, so many kids that when I was doing counseling for adolescents, listening to these babies talk about the stuff that happened to them from their grandparents and their uncles and their aunties, and mama left me with such and such, or they stepdaddies or their fathers. And I mean, it's been a lot of stuff of pretty much what happens it stays here because they're hiding themselves from having to take the legal responsibility of what you've done wrong. But then you put all of that pressure on that child, all that pressure on that person. And they have to now figure out where it is because you're making them feel like they're not being loyal to the family for telling them. Because now you snitching and you snitching on family. I'm like, listen, I am the same chick who called the SWAT team on her brother. I don't care. we, we talking about me. It is what it is. I'm like it's a whole nother situation. Like I can't I can't go through life like that. Like I won't. So I wasn't going to sit and let this whole situation happen and I just be like, oh, okay, that happened. Nope. I was like literally 911. This is what's happening. This is what's going on right now. No, I'm not going to wait for him to turn. This is how people come up dead, allowing people in their house that's doing stuff, and because it happened here in the house, we gonna keep it here because you family. I don't care if you my twin and we connected. If you do something on my right side, I'm calling the police on my left side, or me and you gonna fight one-handed, one or the other. But somebody gonna pay for what's happening. You're gonna stop what you're doing. I'm not gonna just let you hurt anybody. So I think I shocked my whole family, which is probably why they don't like me because I called SWAT team real quick. This is what's going on. Now y'all can come get him because
As
of
you,
the, huh,
as you should.
baby, and did it with a head up. This is what's going on. This is what he doing, and he holding us at gunpoint. So somebody needs to come here, and this is my blood related brother, my literally my mama's child. Come get him. Something's wrong. I know something's off with him, but he has a rifle to me, his girlfriend, and his two kids. So I need y'all to get here. And yes, I went through the whole steps and was like, and where do I press charges once they got him? And where do I press charges at? You'll never threaten my life. Where? And everybody was, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him. He had a right. That was okay. Like that's when you know the mentality of the family is off. That was okay for him to hold a rifle to us. But y'all mad at me because I called the police because he was on a rifle. Something is off with this. If I'd have shot him, would y'all have been okay with that? Like, how does that work? Where is your mindset? How do we break this? That's not loyalty. Loyal would have been him not pulling that rifle out on us in the first place. That's the way I feel about that. Anybody else?
think that's accurate. I mean, people don't want you to say anything, but people don't want you to do anything. But if something happens, then it's, oh my God, that should have never happened. Woe is me. Don't cry about it now. Like, what's the point? When you had an opportunity to say something, you didn't want it to be said. When you had an opportunity to stop something, you didn't want it stopped. So why are you crying about it now? Like, that's something that always bothered me. Stop crying about something that you weren't really trying to prevent.
Right.
And stop being angry with the person that was literally trying to prevent it. Like, that's not okay. Um, Stop living in this secret. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like my mom was huge. I mean, and to be honest, she is still that way. What happened in my house, stay in my house. It ain't nobody business what happened outside my house. And like that's something we were to the point where I will be honest, I think it was so engraved in me that in the beginning, when the girls were younger, I was saying that, but I had to change it. And it wasn't that I literally stopped saying it. I literally had to start telling them, stop telling your grandma all my business. I'll tell her what I need her to know. Like they would, she would pretty much try to interrogate them because my mom's a control freak. So, and that's not being negative. That's actual fact. Like she'll tell you, I managed people for so long that I don't know how to be no different. And that's how she is. It's not to talk badly, but it's the truth. And that's what she would do. She would ask all the questions. Who was over at the house? And what did y'all do? And what did she do? And so I had to get to the point where I was like, stop answering all those questions about me. Like, just you can tell her to ask your mom. That's what you say. Ask mommy. And I know that's probably still wrong, but what I'm saying, at a point, it's like I kind of got tired. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't really know another way that I did that I could have done that. But yeah.
I think that's it for me. It was in this situation, understanding the stuff that went on with your mom and talking to her. A lot of that stuff that you talked to us about, we just was like, for me, I was like, how did you deal with that? Like, it's certain things that I feel like I had to get my mind straight. I had to seek counseling. I had to talk to somebody because my opinions of what other people went through, I would be like, why? Why'd you let that happen? Why'd you, and had a habit of telling people, why'd you let that happen? Like, you could have changed that. But I had to learn that I had some issues of my own that was why I was feeling that way. Like, no, you don't let people just do things. And that's because for so long I had to let people do things. That when I got grown, it was like, nah, I had to deal with this then. I don't have to deal with it now. And should nobody else be dealing with it then? So I've learned that people deal with stuff the way that they need to, which is why, like, even when stuff happens now, you go say something, I'll be like, I just
no, that's true. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like it. Look, I'm grown. I'm very much so grown, and my mom still tries it. I think she more so, and I'm gonna be honest. I think now she more so tries it when she knows that I'm going through a health issue. Um, and just being honest, it's because, and Neil, you've seen it, because a lot of times I just don't have energy to fight. I don't have that energy to um my mind doesn't run as fast as it needs to kind of be like, I got that. A lot of times I'm on okay, whatever you say, like it can get to that point where like my body's just like, I just, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I feel like that's taken advantage of. And it takes me a minute to kind of click back in to be like, wait, no, that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
that's not okay. But I mean, it happens. I acknowledge that it happens. I acknowledge that it still happens. I mean, it's happening, now. Like I'm getting quicker with listening to everything that's being said and being able to process it. But a lot of times, having the thyroid condition and dealing with severe migraines that cause me to pass out, it messes with everything. And it's like, uh, people be laughing when I say a lot of times I like to make sure I have certain people on the phone, certain people on my iPad, because what I can't catch, they can. What I can't say right away, they can. You know, and that's kind of how things happen. And when it's like that, I feel like my mom comes in real hard, full throttle, full throttle, and it's like, okay, got it, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. For me, it's just one of those things. I'd be like, hmm. I mean, I made while I was sick, when I was going through a lot of stuff where I couldn't answer people when they were talking to me, and I couldn't deal with certain things. I started to realize, and I thank God for just giving that to me, to realize when people were trying to manipulate me when I'm sick, when I was sick, or when I couldn't remember stuff, or when there was a lot happening around me. I could start to see when people were either forcing their opinion or pressing their opinion into my head of this, that, and the other, or asking me questions when you know that I can't process what you're saying right now. So I got to the point where I have a rule. My rule is don't talk to me if you don't feel. Don't ask me questions because I'm not going to answer you. Everything for me is let me get back to you. So no matter what the question was, it was let me get back to you because I need to be able to wake up, get a full understanding of what you're saying, and then answer. So no longer am I going to answer. I mean, Brandon used to ask me for stuff. He'll come in and ask me for stuff that he know I done already said no to, and ask me for something and then walk out and he go get it and then I'm looking for it and it's gone. Well, you told me I can have it. When did you ask this? Okay, so now you getting the let me get back to you. So he can be asking for something he need right then. Let me get back to you. That was my whole thing. And you gonna wait till I'm able to function to get back to you on the way. I don't need it anymore now. Oh well, great. Then it should still be in there. Just because I don't have time for that. Like, who does that? Don't call me asking me questions. Don't call me trying to set up nothing. No, I'm not agreeing to come and do no shows. I'm not agreeing to talk to nobody. I'm not going over here. I'm not going. I don't know. Let me get back to you. When I'm able to function, I will. Until then, I'm not going to do it, which is why I'm like, most people do need a publicist. Somebody that can be like, talk to my publicist, check with them. Because I can't function in that area and I'm not putting myself in a bad situation going forward. I'm like, no. And you're not going to pressure me into anything either. Yes, sir, B.
Hey, so this is the quickest way I can ask. I got a sidebar about food. Is that okay?
Are you coming to ask me a question about personal
Yeah.
food? Can we not do that right now? That was like,
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
Just really? It's
My
my
fault.
child. Of course. Hmm. So yeah, just not doing things where I'm distracted to anything. And then you come in asking questions about food. You should have known I was
Oh,
gonna bring that
uh,
up.
sorry, I was trying to get it done before they close.
Get her done. Go ahead. You know what to do already. So just making sure that we are focused in to get everything that we need to get done properly and do it like you need to. Like Micah and Tyrell talked about the different ways of dealing with the mental health and dealing with the situations that you're going with that. You have what's going to work for you. What everybody else do, including me, is not going to always work for you. So yes, our opinions are going to be different. Our strategies are going to be different. The mechanics of how we get through things are going to be different. They may not always match up. We may not like them, but moving on. Go ahead and do what you need to do for you. Make sure that you're good. Get counseling. Call somebody. Talk to somebody. If you don't want to go to a counselor, talk to your pastor, your minister, somebody that you trust and that you trust with your situation. Use discernment because everybody doesn't need to know your situation. There's a lot of things that I've came through that I'm through, which is why I'm able to talk to it or talk about it on here. But there's some things I'm not through yet that I won't ever bring up on here until I'm through it because you can't trust everybody with your situation. And we got cool people on the crew and cool people in our exec team, but a lot of my stuff is personal and it's mine. And I need to deal with that with God and let God handle, because everybody's opinion can't mix in with that. So do what you need to do for you. Make sure you're breaking those generational curses. Figure out ways, if you're a parent and you're dealing with it with children. Yes, there are counselors that's for kids that can sit down and talk to you and your child at the same time and figure out what's happening there. And if you don't agree with it, get a second opinion. It's okay to search around for counselors until you find somebody that fits what your need is, that you feel comfortable with. There's a process on how to do it with kids so that they're not confused. You can take those steps. Not switching up a counselor like you do what do you call them, barber shops or beauty shops. When you don't like the hairstyle, you move to somebody else. That's not the way you do that with counseling kids. So talking to their teachers, talking to their counselor at the school, just to see how we can set it up where it's in a motion where it works for them. And your kids will let you know when they're comfortable. But if you keep seeing they pulling away and they're not comfortable, please don't force them into that. That's trauma, and it can stay with them into the place that they don't trust people. And so you want to make sure you're paying attention. But y'all, it is 10 a.m. This has been Morning Social, and we are live right now, F2GRadio.net, also on Facebook at F2G.radio, F2G.entertainment, and on YouTube at F2G, on YouTube as Faithful to God Network. And also, I am Tennille, and we're live coming from Clubhouse at F2G.network. Y'all, I'm gonna get this in my head where it roll off my tongue with no problem. Okay, I was gonna make sure of that. But we are ending our live broadcast right here on F2G Radio. And only because it's been live week did I let it go this far. We are returning back to our 1 hour segment because we have to keep these slots open, y'all. The slots are now going to be filled up. And so there'll be somebody coming in behind me after 8:30 a.m. So be ready for the new lineup that's happening on F2GRadio.net. Welcome to all of our new shows. Welcome to all of the changes. Oh, and if you've been waiting, trying to figure out whatever happened to Brando Radio will be back with you all this month. He comes on Mondays at 3 p.m. So Mondays at 3 p.m. starting next week. Is it 3 or 5? I'm sorry.
I was about to say, man, you got me at work talking to people.
My bad. So it went from Thursdays at 3 to Mondays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all, correction, Mondays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Listen, y'all, the changes that go on this station, okay? I am the lead programmer, and they still have me a little confused sometimes. This is why we don't do changes all the time, okay? Got things going on. We got events. Get your tickets to sound check. And so we get your tickets to sound check. Go ahead and get your online tickets. Let's get these vendor spots set up and running. Be ready for the interviews, y'all. Dress to impress. Let's have a good time. And it's been real. Thank y'all for joining us on F2G Radio for a morning social. I am Tennille, and we out of here. So y'all can go ahead and talk on Clubhouse. We coming up off in just a moment.
I ain't on this for the conversation. It sounds like it was good.
It was.
I prophesy that you are entering into a season that everything that God does for you from now on shall be major on top of major. I need you to open your mouth and shout major, 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 major. Every time you look up, look at your neighbor and say major. You have already graduated from your season of average. God says, I'm